and welcome to this week's edition of Your Wealth Matters, brought to you by the team of Your Wealth Advisors. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is the founder, Ryan Cunningham, and co-founder, Paige Cunningham. We've got a great show for you today. The title of this episode is Mark Your Calendars, Big Birthdays for Retirement Planning. The reality is one of the biggest stressors folks face is not necessarily knowing what to do when it comes to their retirement planning. But don't worry, we've got 25 years worth of key dates for you to know about today, and we're going to let you know everything you need to know so that your retirement can be on track. Ryan, Paige, so excited to have this conversation with both of you. How are you this week?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. This is going to be a lot of fun.
It is, yes. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Very excited to do this.
Well, typically when folks think about aging, it's not always a very positive thing, right? People might think about gray hair, aging, aching backs, weird things start happening.
Yes.
But from a retirement planning perspective, there's actually a lot to look forward to about continuing to get older, because there's opportunities for you to have more control over your hard-earned money. So sit back, relax. You might want to pick up a piece of paper and a pen. We're going to be going through 25 years worth of key dates, big birthdays that you can be celebrating from a financial planning perspective. So are y'all ready to dive in?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. So first up, we are going to start with the age of 50, the big 50. Explain why this is such an important milestone when it comes to retirement planning.
Yes, so exciting news. When you turn 50, you now are eligible to do what we call a catch-up contribution. This allows you to add more money into any of your qualified accounts, your 401ks, your retirement plans. Not only does this help with contributing more into your tax-deferred accounts, it can also help reduce your taxable income, which is a huge factor.
Yes, and it's amazing, even just putting in that much more can really compound and make a difference.
Absolutely.
For folks who feel like, oh, I wasn't able to save more younger in life, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
It's
maybe
an
they
exciting
started later.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. So those catch-up contributions, definitely want to take advantage of those. And then the next birthday that we want to talk about, this is kind of interesting, and I know you guys go through this at your house with 5 kids, right?
Yes.
But when we're younger, we love celebrating half birthdays. But there's some time along the way where we quit getting excited about the half birthday, right? But age 59 and a half, this is a big one. Why is that?
Yeah, 59 and a half is really an important year and milestone for retirement, because it's when you're eligible to access your funds without an extra 10% penalty. Doesn't mean that you necessarily want to take it out,
Right.
but it means that you have the ability to diversify and move some funds out of one plan and move them into another as a rollover without incurring that extra 10% penalty.
Yeah, so let's talk about this in-service rollover, because I find a lot of folks aren't aware of it. They don't even know that that option is available to them. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, it's not a very well-known process to where your plan actually allows for you to move certain amounts of your 401k or 403b plans into a self-directed IRA without any penalty. So it gives a great opportunity to maybe get some risk off the table, or to diversify outside of your current plan and start putting it in other buckets and other places that are going to benefit you when that date comes that you get the ultimate retirement.
Yes. Well, and it helps for folks to understand how limited the investment options actually are within whatever workplace retirement plan you may have. I find a lot of people aren't even aware of that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest struggles that people have in their plans is, one, they don't know what their options are, right? Or two, they're very limited in their options. And so by getting the ability to sit down with an advisor to help you understand what your options are and to show you that there are ways to maybe pull some risk off the table, and just diversify into other options, or to figure out what is going to be best for what you're looking for based upon your timeline. That is an enormous opportunity, and you don't want to do it early.
Right.
Because if you do, there's those extra 10% penalties that people really can get hit with.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you're not aware of that, that can really trip you up in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also, because a lot of this money is in tax-deferred accounts, there's going to be a tax bill associated,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So we'll talk more about taxes as we go on throughout today's show. But as we wrap up this first segment, I'm curious, why is it so crucial for our viewers to already be thinking about retirement planning during this decade of their 50s, and to have a withdrawal strategy kind of already mapped out before they reach this critical age of 59 and a half?
Yeah, I think, I don't think it's ever too early to start planning for your retirement, but 50s are crucial because, for example, we had a client come in not too long ago and she said, I have 2 more years until I want to retire. So I just want to get my plan in place. Well, it ended up she came down with some health issues and couldn't finish out the remaining years. And so we were able to kind of help transition her into a plan to where if you can just make it through these next 2 years, we can turn it to where retirement can start then for you and it'll work.
Wow, how
and your
awesome.
lifestyle won't have to change. And
Right.
So that was a big thing.
What a blessing to get in front of it. I always say it's never too early to get started. It's also not too late, but the sooner you start, the easier it's going to be, right?
Yeah, and the hard part about it is you just don't know what life is going to throw you.
Yes.
Right? And so if you're in that position and you don't know what life is going to throw you, we would love the opportunity for you to call in and get a free complimentary consultation and a free written plan that's going to give you that ability that when life happens unexpectedly, you have a plan in place that allows for you to know what you're going to need to do. The worst thing that can happen is you don't have a plan.
Yeah, for sure.
And so our goal is to put that plan in place for you.
I'm so excited for folks in this area to have you guys as a resource and be able to receive this level of planning. Talk a little bit more in depth about what they're going to actually receive when they call in to schedule their time to receive this complimentary written financial plan.
Yeah, so if you get the opportunity to call into one of our shows, we would love the chance to sit down with you and figure out what you need. Planning is something that is not for everybody in a blank slate. It's individualized, and we want to make sure that you have the plan that fits your needs and your situation and your circumstance. So when you come in and you meet with one of our advisors, it is a very low-key, laid-back experience. We want you to feel comfortable, but we want to learn about you and what you want and how your future is going to look. And then we will put a plan together for you and give it to you to go over what that is going to entail and what it's going to look like in retirement for you.
Wonderful. Ryan, Paige, thank you so much. I'm excited to continue this conversation with you. And to our viewers at home, if this is resonating with you, if you would like to have the guidance that comes with having a solid plan in place for your retirement, we encourage you to reach out today. This is for no cost, no charge, and no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how the team of Your Wealth Advisors can help and serve you. 844-411-3050 is the number to call to schedule yours. Or if you'd rather connect online, simply grab your smartphone and you can scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that will get you connected as well. We've made it through the decade of your 50s. Stay with us when we come back. We're going to dive into your 60s and beyond and let you know the key birthdays you need to know about to set your retirement on track. Stay with us.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Your Wealth Matters. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Ryan and Paige Cunningham from Your Wealth Advisors, and we are so glad that you're joining us today. If you're just tuning in, we are having a really fun conversation working our way through 25 years of key milestone birthdays that can impact your retirement. So we just covered the decade of your 50s. Congratulations, you're now 60 years old. What's next on the list of what folks need to pay attention to?
Exciting news. Between the ages of 60 and 63, you are now eligible for what we call the supersized catch-up. This allows you to contribute up to $11,000 into a qualified account. And again, not only is that beneficial in just contributing to your tax-deferred plans, but this can also be a tremendous help in reducing your taxable income, which as we are getting to the end of our working years, that is crucial.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm finding too, these super catch-up contributions are new. A lot of people aren't aware of them. It's for people ages 60 to 63, like you said. And what's great is that you are sometimes in your highest earning years, so you have more of an opportunity to be able to put even more money away, right?
Yeah, I think that's a crucial part is not everybody is eligible or able in the younger years to contribute the max into their plans. And so having this 2 to 3 year window to where you can put more money in, you may have met with somebody or looking at your numbers and think that it's not enough and you need to do more. It's a fantastic opportunity that unfortunately a lot of people just don't know about.
Exactly. So I'm glad that we're shining the light on that for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, next up, age 62. Oh, this is a big one. Why is that?
A big one. Yes. So once you hit age 62, you can now access Social Security. It is considered the earliest that you can do it. So in doing so, we don't often recommend this, but there are specific situations in which we do. You know, maybe if there's like some health issues or some financial issues, you can turn this on. However, please do understand that it can reduce your income for life up to 30%.
Yes. That's the key, right? So just because you're eligible at 62, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right time to optimize your benefit. But if you need it, it's there for you.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, yay, I'm 62. Let me go down and turn it on without realizing they're locking in that 30% reduction.
Yeah, if you're able to wait, we would absolutely encourage it.
Well, not only that, but if you're still working, you don't necessarily want to turn it on because then it's a penalty.
Yeah, so talk about that.
Right, so if you turn it on before you hit your full retirement age, which I think we'll talk about coming up at your next couple birthdays, then the law and the government puts stipulations on how much you can make. And if you make over those numbers, then they're going to penalize you $2, for every dollar that you make. It's, it's an unfortunate thing that a lot of people just don't realize is out there.
Right.
And so you want to make sure that even though you're now eligible, that you are meeting with somebody to help give you the guidelines of what the impact is of turning it on.
Yes, those givebacks are so sneaky. When I used to travel nationwide and present on this subject, I used to always say, what the government giveth, the government loveth to taketh away. Right.
I love that.
No, but it's so sad when folks don't have this information and they go ahead and lock in that crucial decision. So again, a Social Security optimization report is something you'll be able to include as part of that complimentary written financial plan, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, we would love the opportunity to sit down and give that complimentary Social Security optimization report to let you know when you should and how it's going to affect you tax-wise, as well as what the long-term look of it really is for you and your family when it comes to maximizing what you're going to need in retirement.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, next up on our list, age 65. This is another big birthday because a very crucial word comes into play, the M word, which is?
Medicare.
Yes.
It's a very scary topic for a lot of people. It's one that a lot of information is out there, but it's not necessarily something that's easy to understand. And so part of planning for retirement is making sure that you get your Medicare options right. And we know you're getting blown up on the telephone every day by companies wanting to meet with you and tell you what's going on. But it's important that you find the best plan for you, right? Because once it goes into it, while your first year, you have a lot of options of getting in and picking any plan that you want. If life happens and health comes in the way, you may not be able to make any moves down the road.
Right.
And it is something that a lot of people don't realize is out there. The other thing when it comes to Medicare that's very, very important is you need to have it reviewed every year. We can't stress the importance of, even if you're on a traditional Medicare plan, you need to have your drug plan reviewed every year because they're going to change it whether you want a change or not. And if you don't know that change is coming or your plan is eliminated and they just put you in a new plan, it can affect you on an income basis of your out-of-pocket expenses going forward. And we want to make sure that you don't get put in that situation.
For sure. And I'm curious, because I've heard folks say this, a lot of times people want to continue working up until 65 because they're like, no, I need my health insurance. I need to stay until I reach Medicare age, but maybe they really want to go ahead and retire, or otherwise financially they could. How are you able to help someone who maybe is in their early 60s and they're like, you know what, I've had it, I'm done with work, but I have to bridge this gap, if you will, until Medicare?
Yeah, I think it's all about putting together a income plan or a retirement plan or an early distribution plan to help figure it out. You know, unfortunately, the marketplace is difficult for underage health insurance, for under 65. And so we want to make sure that if that is your situation, right, that we are able to guide you and show you what options are available to you to bridge that gap from 63 or even 64. Or you may be in a situation, we had a client where the husband was ready to retire and he hit 65, but the wife was only 64 and she was not eligible for that piece. And so making sure that we had an income plan, a distribution plan on their other assets to bridge that gap is a very, very important and comforting piece to have when you're looking to make that move.
For sure. Nothing's worse than staying in a job that you're not happy in just to get the health care, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then just not knowing your options, that it could be, you know, there could be a solution that you're unaware of.
Yes, for sure. So I'm so glad that you all are there to help folks navigate through this. And regarding Medicare, as we wrap up that piece, you know, I always say that folks get really, really sexy around Medicare age, meaning you know that marketing machine, if you've hit that age, it starts generating all sorts of stuff. It's really hard to sort through the noise. So I'm really glad that you can do that for folks as part of this comprehensive, holistic plan that you offer.
Yeah, I think that's an important aspect.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Giving clarity and simplifying the unknowns and the overwhelming. I remember when my parents turned 65, my mom shut down. It was just too much for her. People calling, just overwhelming, and needed somebody to sit down and go through what are the basics.
Right.
What do I need to know? What are the costs really associated with Medicare? And what is the best plan for me?
Yes.
And I think that getting that and clearing out the extra noise is really a crucial part of planning in retirement in a core.
Right. No, so true. Well, I think we have time for one more birthday in the decade of our 60s. And Ryan, you mentioned full retirement age a little while ago. So let's talk about that key birthday.
Yeah, that key birthday of full retirement age, whether it's 66 or 67, the majority coming up will be 67. It's an important time because you're now eligible for 100% of your benefit through the Social Security market, but it doesn't mean that you have to take it. That's a key that a lot of people miss, is that just because you hit full retirement age, it doesn't mean that you have to turn it on. They still give us unbelievable options and give you unbelievable options if you want to defer. But there's important pieces of really figuring out what's going on. Like if you're going to still be working, it may not benefit you to turn on your full retirement age the year you turn 67.
Right.
Because there's additional complications and penalties that could come if you make too much money.
Right.
And we want to make sure, then you want to make sure that in the event that you turn on that Social Security, that you're doing it at the right time for you.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, the give backs thankfully stop when you reach full retirement age, but taxation of Social Security comes into play, right? And we always say how you make a decision in one area of your financial life can and will affect all the others. This is why you can't afford to look at any one of these pieces in isolation. You have to see how they fit together. So, Paige, what would you say to someone who's watching? Because I can almost hear the viewers right now thinking, oh my gosh, this is a lot. I had no idea. If someone's feeling that overwhelm right now, what would be your encouragement to them?
Yeah, please give us a call. We would absolutely love to have you come in the office, sit down with us. We want to hear your goals, and we can help put a plan together that best fits you. Everyone's situation is different, so we would absolutely love the opportunity for you to come in and we figure out what's best for you in retirement.
Awesome. Paige, Ryan, thank you so much. What I love is this is not a cookie cutter approach. I always say we are not cookies to be cut. This is an individualized, customized, personalized plan that helps you meet your retirement goals. So if this is resonating with you, we encourage you to reach out and schedule your time to come in and receive your very own complimentary written financial plan. 844-411-3050 is the number to call. Or again, you're welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. We'll be back with more right after this.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter, the one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Your Wealth Matters. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Ryan and Paige Cunningham from Your Wealth Advisors, and we have been working our way through today some of the key milestone birthdays. As we said at the top of the show, getting older has its benefits from a retirement planning perspective, and we want you to be aware of what these key milestone birthdays can mean for you, giving you greater control and flexibility over your financial future. So we've walked through the decade of your 50s. We walked through the decade of your 60s. Congratulations, you're now 70 years old. What do folks need to know about the big 70 birthday?
Yeah, so once you hit 70, you are at the maximum benefit for Social Security, which is amazing. And then we would highly recommend that you turn that on because it's not going to keep increasing, right? So it's already increased 8% per year since 67.
Since your full retirement age.
Yes, thank you. A lot of numbers here.
Yes.
Yes, so once you hit 70, that's the max. You've done a great job if you're able to hang on that long. And
yeah, there's just no point to wait because the amount of the check's not going to go up, right?
No,
So congratulations, you've hit the max.
You've hit that max,
Right?
that milestone. You know, a lot of people, we had a client come into the office the other day, unfortunately, that was in a unique situation to where she didn't want to turn on her Social Security. Her husband had passed away unexpectedly, and when she came into the office, she said, I can't turn on my Social Security. My husband and I promised each other that we were going to wait until we hit our max. And unfortunately, life doesn't always work out that way.
Right, yeah.
So if you're fortunate and you get to do that, it's fantastic. But I think it's important that you know what's right for you.
Yes,
Because
for sure.
again, it's not right for everybody to wait till 70 or even to wait till full retirement. It is a individualized plan that's very, very important that you get right.
Yes. When you bring up a really good point, which I think we should highlight, and that is for married couples, how crucial it is for you to look at both of your claiming strategies, because once one spouse passes away, you're going to lose one of those Social Security benefits. The good news is you get to keep the higher of the two. So it might make sense based on certain people's working record, maybe the spouse who earned more delays and waits to turn on their benefit so that when that day comes, they get to stick with that higher amount.
And
right?
I think that's what this couple was trying to do. It
Yeah.
was just a very unfortunate situation. He passed unexpectedly, and she was still trying to hold true to what they had agreed on, and it just wasn't an option for her anymore.
Right. But then there's flexibility, and we have to adjust because life still happens,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you could navigate through that with them.
Yes.
Well, next up, we have a very important birthday. This is probably one of the most crucial ones. Age 73. And you definitely want to listen up because the rules around what happens at age 73 has changed a lot over the last 5 years, right?
Absolutely. Yes, this is when you are required to take out your required minimum distribution from any qualified accounts. This is something you absolutely do not want to miss. There is a 25% penalty if you do not do it. And being that you are no longer contributing to your qualified accounts, this can be crucial when you are forced to take this money out, you know? So we're already giving enough to taxes. The last thing we want to do is pay a penalty on top of that.
Well, and I am blown away at how many folks who are already maybe working with another financial professional aren't having RMD conversations or have never even heard of these RMDs. And they're going, what are these? What do I need to know about them? But this is something that you really plan for from the beginning because it can create some severe tax implications, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had a client come into the office back in November at the end of the year when it was RMD season, and she was adamant, I don't need it. I don't want to take it. I don't need it.
I'm not taking it.
And we just had to continually express to her that I understand you don't need it.
Right.
But the government doesn't care.
Right.
They are going to hit you for an additional penalty on top of what you are required to take out. And
If
so
you
we
don't
have
take it.
to
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it is that education piece that it is important that a lot of people, even if they're working with an advisor, they're not being talked to about the laws of what the requirements are. While they've given us a great opportunity to grow our money on a tax-deferred basis, they're going to want their share back.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. And they know how many trillions of dollars are just sitting in these tax-deferred accounts. And we look at our national debt and the government's going, yeah, I want to get my piece of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be our saving grace.
Yeah, I think another important aspect of that age of 73 is it also increases every
Yes.
year.
Yeah,
That
talk about-
amount
'cause a lot
that
of
you
people aren't
have to
aware of
take
that.
out,
Yep.
it increases as you age. Now, it's not a dramatic increase, but as you age, you have to take more and more out. And it's an important factor because if you miss it,
Yep.
they're going to hit you with that penalty.
Right.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in today's world, if you're not working with an advisor that is on top of it for you, it's left on your shoulders
Yes.
to figure out. And so we like to help make sure our clients know, listen, here's what you need, here's your income plan, and then here's what you're required.
Yes.
And if it's more than what you need, that's okay. We have a plan in place for that. And if it's more, right, that you have to take out more than your RMD, then we need to make sure we have a plan in place for that as well, because not only do you have to take it out, you got to pay taxes on it.
For sure. Well, there's so much strategy that needs to go into this, getting in front of it. And again, goes back to what we said earlier. The sooner you start, the easier it can be to plan for this tax bill, because again, it's right there in the name, required, right? This is not an option.
Yes.
And a lot of folks aren't aware of some of the law changes. The penalty used to be 50%.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice of them. They lowered it to 25. Ugh, we don't want you to pay any penalty, right? So this is why you have to know this stuff
Right.
and
Yeah,
get
it's
in
your
front of
money.
it. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I should highlight too, for folks born 1960 and later, the age is actually 75. That's what the law currently stands, just to make it even more confusing, right? Don't you want to meet the clowns in Washington who make these rules sometimes?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what is
I mean,
going
can they
on?
not just make it simple?
Right.
You know, unfortunately, they have enough going on, right? As we've talked about, having to figure out when to turn on your Social Security. What about Medicare? Now you got to worry about taking money out of your accounts, even if you didn't want to.
Yep.
And it can get overwhelming. And I think that is really a crucial point and an important aspect of working with a planner that figures out what's best for you. I tell people all the time, there's no blanket approach.
Yes.
There's no one thing that fits everybody. Retirement is so unique that the person sitting to your right or to your left are going to need something different than what you need.
So
and
true.
it is important that you get your customized plan for retirement.
Absolutely. Ryan, Paige, what a delightful conversation this has been. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and expertise.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have found this to be helpful and valuable. That's how it's intended each and every week. We encourage you to reach out to schedule your complimentary written financial plan. 844-411-3050 is the number to call to get yours. Be blessed, and we look forward to being back with you next time here on Your Wealth Matters.